Hello and welcome back to the channel and episode 2 of our Studio Ghibli review series. And as you may have remembered in episode 1, I mentioned that me and Mum watched two of the films together, and so the rest of the series we're going to review them together. And so last night we watched Castle in the Sky, or as IMDb calls it here, Laputa, Castle in the Sky. So it came out in 1986 and it was directed by Hayao Miyazaki. He wrote it as well. And then Mayumi Tanaka is the voice of Patsu, which is one of the main characters. And then also we have Keiku Yokozawa, who voices Shita, who is the other main character. You can talk whatever you want.
Okay.
If you want.
Just realising 1986 was the year I graduated, so that's a long time ago, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
The movie came out.
And it doesn't really look like a 1986
No,
animation.
The animation's really good.
Yeah.
It looks more recent.
So the wee description for the storyline says, a young boy and a girl with a magic crystal must race against pirates and foreign agents in a search for a legendary floating castle. So this one was about, I think it was half an hour longer than My Neighbor Totoro, and I think it was the same length as the Spirited Away one. Yeah, that wee description is basically the storyline. There's not really much else to say,
But it was quite gripping as you watched it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't boring. You sort of got caught up in it, and as we said as we watched it, some of it was a bit far-fetched at times.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of the sort of Tom and Jerry stories, and that, you know, there was always a lot of drama and sort of bit far-fetched stuff, but you still got caught up in the storyline and watched to see what was going to happen next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it had more of a what's the word? It had a more like in-depth story.
Yeah.
Like there was more going on, whereas My Neighbor Totoro was very basic.
But I loved that one.
Yeah, because I was thinking,
It's a really lovely story.
if you left the room during Totoro for 10 minutes and you came back in, you would kind of know what's happening. Whereas if you left this one for 10 minutes, you might, because it's set in different places, whereas Totoro set all in the one place pretty much.
But it reminded me of the sort of Tom and Jerry story where, you know, all these sort of weird things happen and near-death experiences, but they never get killed.
Aye.
You know, the
Yeah.
bodies.
It is very
always
far-fetched.
trapped where something happens that they don't actually
Aye.
catch them. So.
Because the scene where they're on the train and the train track is crashing like every time they go past a certain bit, whereas in real life they'd be dead straight away. So yeah.
But it also had a good story of good over evil again, and
Mm-hmm.
that's always a good reminder that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
good can conquer evil. So there's a good moral story to it as well. It's the sort of thing that a family can watch together.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I like about this series. There's
Mm.
nice stories.
And it's like there's also, I suppose, the whole thing about like nature and technology, because the castle is like part of it's really old and overgrown, and then part of it's like really advanced technology.
Yeah.
I'll not go too much into the spoilers,
I
but
don't want to ruin the story.
yeah, but
The animation's such a high standard. It's
mm-hmm.
so clever.
Yeah.
Really well done.
And I think, as you said, about far-fetched, the setting's also far-fetched, because My Neighbor Totoro is set in pretty much just Japan, whereas this was like the houses were all on like hillsides and like big caverns, and like it was a bit more like adventure oriented.
And the wee sort of space capsule plane things that they used were.
It was kind of like Star Wars.
It
There
was
was
like Junior Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or something.
it was
I liked My Neighbor Totoro, I must say.
yeah.
It was really nice.
And Spirited Away, it was kind of, even though all the creatures were a bit weird, it was like a traditional Japanese building, whereas this was kind of a bit more different than those two.
It reminded me of being in Singapore years ago when.
This one,
No, what's the first one?
Totoro,
Spirit of
Spirited Away.
the Way reminded me of being in Singapore and people leaving stuff out on the streets for the hungry ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the sort of shrines in the streets and leaving out food and bottles of whiskey
Aye.
and all sorts of fruit and stuff. And then suppose there was a sense of hopelessness in that too. That you know, they were always searching for something, but there wasn't really anything at the end of it. So
yeah.
And it was. I mean, it was quite intriguing as well, and the way it was done was pretty amazing. But it was very sort of Japanese culture stroke religion. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to watch.
And I think that's what makes them so interesting, because we're so used to American or British animation, and this is a look at Japanese way of life.
Although Castle in the Sky could have been American or British.
We said that last night. It's more of an action, as it says there, it's an adventure genre one, so it wasn't just as Japanese obvious as the other two.
So good recommendations for family viewing.
Yeah.
Even 3-4-year-olds would enjoy them, and there's a lot in it for adults to take out.
They're not silly animation. It's not like you wouldn't leave it and think, oh, that was really daft.
And there's enough in the stories to keep you going and keep you involved.
Yeah. So we'll now jump on to our ranking kind of system.
Okay.
So what we'll do is, I was thinking, we'll score each one on their storyline, how much we like the characters, and the music.
Okay.
And then we get maybe rank them, or else just give them scores. So we'll start at My Neighbor Totoro. Characters, probably give it a 9 out of 10 for the characters. I think they were a bit.
I love that wee story.
Yeah, the wee girl is probably she's funny.
And the way she sits and everything, if you watch it, it's just like the way a 2-3-year-old would get on. Although I think she's 4, isn't she, or 5?
Aye.
Just reminded me of a preschool where you have no sort of no awareness of how to sit properly, or
Aye.
and they're parroting everything that the big one says, and echo and everything. It was really, really true to life.
Aye. I think all three of them are. All the characters are animated like realistically, as opposed to exaggerated. So music, I think My Neighbor Totoro has the best theme tune. That one, I'll probably give it a 10 for its music, probably. It wasn't that it was a bad storyline, it just wasn't as, there's less going on, so I'd probably give it an 8.
I'd give it a 9
for the storyline. So yeah, and then Spirited Away. Do you want to start with your story, characters, and music thoughts?
I think it was the unpredictability in it. You didn't know what was going to happen next. I'll not give the story away, but especially in the fairground or the theme park, when you just didn't know what was going to happen next. So characters, I give it an 8.
And what about music?
Stories, what would you give it? Storyline. You want me to do all mine first?
Just the three,
music,
the 3 sections.
I can hardly remember now. It's a few days ago, but it was pretty dramatic in times. Yeah, I'll give it an 8 as well. It wasn't my favourite one. So, and then what was the next?
Characters, I think.
Characters, yeah, we'll go an 8 on it as well. It wasn't. Okay.
And then for me, I think the storyline was good. I don't think it wasn't just as much going on as this Castle in the Sky one. I thought there was a lot more like backstory in this one, whereas you didn't really like the whole history of Laputa and different things. Whereas in Spirited Away, it was kind of just, it's this moment in time of the characters. You didn't learn about their past. Well, you did a wee bit, but probably get a story for that an 8. And then music, probably an 8 as well. I don't really remember it as much as, say, the Totoro theme tune. And then characters, probably give it a 9 or a 10. It had a lot of really interesting characters. The wee frog, I liked him. And Chihiro, that was the main character, the girl. She was interesting the way at the start she was like complaining, and then she like just did everything with no fear. And then yet also there was loads of characters in it. I can't really remember all the names.
Some obscure ones, but again, there was a sort of good over evil, wasn't there? There was the twins in it who, you remember the twins, one was evil and the other was good.
Right.
So, good moral stories.
Yeah. And then Castle in the Sky, story probably like a 9 as well. I think it had a lot more going on, and there was more like plot twists, almost more unexpected things. Music, probably give this one a 7 for music. I didn't think there was that many, not that music was bad, but it just wasn't as memorable as the other two. And then characters, probably an 8. I think the pirates were probably the best characters in that. And then, have you done your ranking for this one?
I would, for the storyline, I think I would give it 7. Because sometimes it was a bit drawn out. I thought it could have been probably done in less time. Music, I would maybe give the music 6. I didn't think it was that impressive at all.
Aye.
That, and then what's the last one?
Characters.
Yeah, I give the characters 8, especially the main 2. I thought they were pretty impressive. So
Right. That. Now we will rank the films, like overall,
okay.
everything factored in. So where's that page gone? So if you want to write down your ranking, and then flick the page over, and then I'll write down mine, so I can see yours,
Okay.
and then we'll reveal them at the end.
Right.
What your favourite one is at the
okay.
minute, but it may change when we watch the future ones.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry.
Review
Didn't
them.
quite get to there.
Right. They're all so good. They're not like there's no real obvious best one.
Well, there was for me, so that's
Oh,
really different.
Let's see. I'll abbreviate the titles.
That's a good idea.
I feel like our ranking might be the exact same. Do you want to read it out first, or can you remember? I'll flick the page.
Right.
And then, not look. Is that,
The other way, actually.
where's the page?
So my number 1 is Totoro, second one is Castle, and third one is Spirit.
Oh. My number 1 was Totoro, number 2 was Spirited Away, and 3 was Castle in the Sky.
There you go.
So, that is the first.
So during the period of lockdown, we're going to be reviewing movies.
Doing the
and
whole-
watching movies
The whole
and,
series.
Yeah, it'll be coming cinema box.
I think there is 22 films in this series, and not
So 2 a week.
not all of them are on Netflix.
Oh, right.
So we may have to lend someone the DVD if you have any. But the
I
next
think if we get through 10, we'll be doing right.
the next one is Grave of the Fireflies, which was 1988
All right, okay.
and was directed by Isao Takahata. I don't know off the top of my head if it's on Netflix, but
We'll check it out.
we'll work something out.
Yeah, okay.
So that has been episode 2 of our Studio Ghibli review series, and we will hopefully next Sunday or Monday or Saturday,
Do another.
about a week, we'll have episode 3 up. So hope you've enjoyed this one. Like, subscribe, share, do all the buttons,
Okay.
and
Okay.
we will see you in the next one.
And keep safe.
Yes, keep safe.
Lockdown and
Keep
look
yourself
after
busy.
yourself. Yes, and go for a walk. We're just about to do that. Bye.
See you there.